Right here, that's his great-grandmother. She scored very high on inspection.
This is a technology that may have held promise at some point in time if the problems could have been solved. It may have been destroyed, its positive potential, by this crazy rush to deploy it globally before it was ready.
When Malone raised questions about the safety of COVID vaccines, his life was forever changed, and his concerns were categorically dismissed.
These are highly credentialed people who are suffering from some kind of deep misunderstanding or delusion.
Those are the people I worry about because they're credentialed.
We now have a modern studio and a 4-camera system.
Now, Robert is on a mission, conducting countless interviews and giving lectures to educate the public about the potential dangers of COVID vaccines and the rapid deployment of new mRNA products.
There are over 200 different clinical trials currently planned for mRNA-based technology, and over 40 trials are currently enrolling.
Could mRNA technology potentially be introduced into the food supply through the vaccination of dairy cattle?
The administration of these types of technologies in
about the potential dangers of COVID vaccines and the rapid deployment of new mRNA products.
There are over 200 different clinical trials currently planned for mRNA-based technology, and over 40 trials are currently enrolling.
Could mRNA technology potentially be introduced into the food supply through the vaccination of dairy cattle?
The administration of these types of technologies in humans has demonstrated that they can be shed in breast milk in humans. And so it's likely that they could be shed in milk from dairy cattle.
Science that can't be questioned is propaganda. When we took an oath in medicine to first do no harm, where did that go?
Ryan Cole, a pathologist with expertise in virology and immunology. He believes that the harms of the COVID vaccines are significant and downplayed.
It's crazy to think that people that aren't doctors, aren't scientists, were pushing something that never worked.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
And there were billions spread around and shared amongst each other. And now we have millions of people around the world that carry permanent harm for the rest of their lives, who are now paralyzed, who now have neurodegenerative disease, who now have severe autoimmune diseases. People historically have this confidence in the concept of, oh, it's just a vaccine. Well, no, it's not. And then they want to mandate these on people. Well, we have this new technology, everybody needs to get it.
Getting everyone vaccinated.
It's very likely that the mRNA vaccines accelerate coronary artery disease. Now, as a cardiologist, that's really, really bad. Because what we've done is we have introduced into the population another risk factor for heart disease and heart attacks. That means we will see an increased prevalence of heart attacks and sudden cardiac death going on for years, and that's my biggest fear.
This paper by Bowmeyer shows the spike protein staining in that salmon color is physically in the heart. We shouldn't have Wuhan spike protein in young boys hospitalized in Germany with myocarditis.
As we sit here today, there's over 3,000 papers in the peer-reviewed literature that describe COVID-19 vaccine injuries, disabilities, and deaths.
Peter McCullough is a widely published cardiologist whose extensive knowledge and expertise have established him as a leading authority in the field of cardiology.
Prior to the pandemic, I had focused on the interface between heart and kidney disease, and in that domain, I was the most published person in the world in history and remain to that day. I've given grand rounds in every major institution in the United States, published extensively across all the major journals. I was the editor of 2 major journals.
Peter McCullough believes observational and case studies suggest a possible link between the vaccine and serious conditions.
Encephalitis, seizures, and then dangerous intracranial hemorrhages and strokes. Now, outside in the peripheral nervous system, papers have been written demonstrating the vaccines over time, particularly cumulative toxicity, cause a small fiber neuropathy, and they cause dysregulation of the sympathetic nervous system. We call this posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS. The COVID-19 vaccines cause myocarditis. They cause heart damage.
Heart attack deaths have become more common across all age groups.
Experts call for much more research into health issues that have risen during and after the pandemic, taking into account the effects of COVID, vaccines, and lockdowns.
Sudden death among healthy working-age people worldwide is skyrocketing.
There has been an increased rise, a sharp rise in unexplained deaths during the pandemic, deaths that are not listed as COVID-related.
Cardiac arrest incidents are at the highest ever recorded in Victoria.
Led to this situation that we're in. It was all predictable.
These experts deliver a clear message. The COVID vaccines, especially...
This is an insane documentary about COVID vaccine. I'm absolutely shocked. It has 160,000 views and just 7,000 subscribers on the channel. And it's insane. It's like a breast milk and shit.
Qualified to speak on what's been going on for the last years. I actually have degrees in applied mathematics, immunology, computational biology, biochemistry, and molecular biology. These things need to stop being pushed and given today. Not one more shot should be delivered. It's the constant same message that's not true. I'm referring to primarily the safe and effective message still being put out today. These mRNA products specifically, those are the ones I know the most about, are neither. And so the main message is that the people who are injured, who haven't made the connection between why they're injured and why they're suffering, I want to provide them, the most help. First of all, to know that they're not alone. If they're being gaslit even by their own doctor, there are people out there who are establishing protocols to help the vaccine injured.
The post-vaccination community is desperately seeking treatments and a supportive environment where they feel seen.
Has anyone lost someone in their family to the jab? Could they please stand up? Is anyone in this room who's been personally injured by the vaccine? Could they please stand up? Please keep standing. If you know anyone who has been injured by the jab, please stand up.
Paul Merrick is recognized as one of the world's top specialists in pulmonary and critical care. Having authored over 500 peer-reviewed publications, he is established as one of the most published physicians in his field.
COVID doesn't, vaccine doesn't, many diseases.
Paul Merrick and his team are working on solutions for what he believes is a health catastrophe following mass vaccination.
They were never safe nor effective. They harmed countless millions of people. It should never have happened, and it's a tragedy that it was allowed to happen. These so-called vaccines, I think, represent the worst of COVID and the worst of this deceit, dishonesty that we've seen. And I think we provide part of the answer to this terrible problem we're facing.
Hey bitch, can you hear me now? Hey bitch, can you hear me now? You're absolutely right. I lowered the microphone before. Shit. You're absolutely right. I lowered the microphone before. Shit. I didn't check it. You're absolutely Thanks, love mate. I lowered the microphone before. Shit. I didn't check it. Thanks, love mate. Okay, let's go. Are we ready? Yay. Okay, let's go. Are we ready?
Experts critical of COVID vaccines point to biopsy findings, thousands of case reports, and large studies which they believe reveal real harm. Experts critical of COVID vaccines, health authorities, and much of the scientific community find the claims unconvincing and point to thousands of studies as evidence that the vaccines are well researched and safe. They argue that safety monitoring and research indicate side effects are very evidence that the vaccines are well researched and safe.
What the fuck is that? Okay, now it's all good. I fixed it. I fixed everything. Shit. Let's go.
Very rare, and they view case reports and biopsies as inconclusive for linking them to vaccination. The new FDA director is launching a national study into COVID-19 vaccine harms.
We have not gotten full elucidation of the risks of these mRNA vaccines. Hundreds of thousands of people have claimed that they've been vaccine injured. I take those.
We're not sleeping, by the way. What the hell? Are you editing a video or something? Yeah, I knew it. Anyways, while you're editing, I'm gonna fast forward to here and just tell you, like, there's a guy basically who is an inventor of a fucking mRNA technology. This guy.
It is absolutely
Robert
overwhelming.
Malone.
These adverse events.
And he basically got like 5 US patents about
G4
mRNA technology. He fucking invented it. And then he said, you guys are putting like some crazy shit inside the vaccine. You should stop it. And then they discredited him completely. They said he's crazy and shit. And yeah, stuff like that. And then he came out like a year ago or something, and then this guy says like we have like 1000% increase in heart attacks, which is on its own is absolutely crazy. And then this lady comes and says it's insane. She's like a, I don't know, super duper scientist. And then Malone comes and says, dude, you know what, actually it's in the cows. They're giving it. Yo, nice. Yeah, so they're giving it to cows in a cow milk or something, and somehow it's getting now inside the breast milk of women from the fucking cows, which is absolutely like batshit crazy shit, you know, straight out of science fiction movie. Anyways, starts about here.
That we've seen. And I think we provide part of the answer to this terrible problem we're facing.
Experts critical of COVID vaccines point to biopsy findings, thousands of case reports, and large studies which they believe reveal real harm. Health authorities and much of the scientific community find the claims unconvincing and point to thousands of studies as evidence that the vaccines are well researched and safe. They argue that safety monitoring and research indicate side effects are very rare, and they view case reports and biopsies as inconclusive for linking them to vaccination. The new FDA director is launching a national study into COVID-19 vaccine harms.
We have not gotten full elucidation of the risks of these mRNA vaccines. Hundreds of thousands of people have claimed that they've been vaccine injured. I take those concerns very seriously.
What is inside my arm? What's in my arm? What's in my arm, yo?
In this chapter, let's break down the science using 3D visuals to show how the mRNA vaccine works and explore its potential links to clotting and heart damage. But first, let's recognize that messenger RNA isn't just a man-made invention. In its natural form, it's a marvel within our bodies. Evolution has gifted life with the wonders of genetic coding, the blueprint of existence. In this grand symphony of life, messenger mRNA plays a vital part. The magnificent diversity of life stems from humble beginnings, evolving over billions of years to attain its marvelous complexity. The journey from primitive beings to complex creatures would not have been possible without the genetic blueprint called DNA and the related molecule RNA. DNA holds all the instructions to maintain the body. These instructions are then copied from DNA into smaller snippets called messenger RNA, which are the to-do list for each cell. So you can think of DNA as the blueprint, and mRNA is the project manager bringing plans to life.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade.
During the space race of the 1950s and 60s, genetics research saw rapid progress, including the discovery of messenger RNA in 1961. Today, scientists have figured out how to create a synthetic, modified version of mRNA in the lab that is engineered to last.
I found out that I was streaming in horizontal, and I found out that if you stream on horizontal, because when I initially wanted to stream, I did it because when you scroll the shorts, you can find live streams there. Sometimes they appear in my feed, so I click on it and I watch it live. But because when you stream horizontal, apparently, there's a lesser chance that you'll appear in the short feed. But if you do it vertical format, you will appear in it. That's the theory, I guess.
Last longer and evade immune detection. Our cells mistake this lab-made mRNA as their own, and our body starts to create proteins for therapeutics or vaccines. The modified mRNA vaccines are created on a computer in a lab, without using a real virus. These genetic vaccines only required the genetic sequence of the coronavirus.
We never had access to the physical virus to design the product.
In the early stages of the pandemic, Chinese scientists released the genetic code of the coronavirus, sparking a global race to develop a vaccine.
As soon as we get that sequence, let's plug it into mRNA. That's all I needed was the sequence.
They used the genetic code provided by Chinese scientists as a backbone for their mRNA vaccine. The modified genetic code in the vaccine instructs our bodies to produce only a specific part of the coronavirus rather than the entire virus itself.
Vaccine platforms are using what's called the spike protein of the coronavirus.
The spike proteins are the tiny spikes on the surface of the virus. Once this mRNA code is injected into your body, it instructs your cells to make these coronavirus spikes. By creating these spikes in our body, our immune system should build immunity against this specific part of the virus.
The worst mistake of all would be to take messenger RNA and then have it code for a lethal protein that was engineered in a Chinese biosecurity lab. That was a disaster.
The mRNA technology is exceptionally complicated and unlike anything we have seen with standard vaccines.
When people received their first COVID-19 vaccine, it was the first time their body received lipid nanoparticles.
The mRNA vaccine dose is filled with tiny bubbles of fat called lipid nanoparticles. These fat bubbles protect the modified mRNA from degrading and help it enter cells. Once inside, the mRNA instructs the cells to produce a genetically engineered version of the spike protein.
The lipid nanoparticles, when they attach to cells, then the lipid nanoparticles dump off their payload, messenger RNA. The messenger RNA then is taken into the cytoplasm of the cell. It's read by ribosomes over and over and over again. The spike protein, which is a foreign protein, is expressed on the surface of cells.
The injection of mRNA vaccines turns our bodies into spike protein manufacturing sites. With every dose, a substantial amount of these modified spike proteins are created inside your body. The scientific community has stated that the spike protein created by the vaccine is harmless. Concerns have been raised about its potential to cause harm. A Yale preprint detected spike protein up to 709 days after vaccination in patients with post-vaccination syndrome.
The code that they used is for the spike protein. Early on in the pandemic, we learned that the spike protein is the toxic part of this virus that causes clotting, that causes inflammation, that causes myocarditis, that causes brain fog.
The spike protein directly causes blood clotting and is found in the middle of large blood clots. Protein
causes myocarditis. That in the pandemic, we learned that the spike protein is the toxic part of this virus that causes clotting, that causes... The code that they used is for the spike protein. Early on in the pandemic, we learned that the spike protein is the toxic part of this virus that causes clotting, that causes inflammation, that causes myocarditis, that causes brain fog.
The spike protein directly causes blood clotting and is found in the middle of large blood clots.
Researchers have concerns that the immune response triggered by mRNA vaccines could potentially lead to excessive attacks on our tissues and organs.
And any cell that makes this foreign protein now becomes a target of your own immune cells to attack as well.
Those cells will be attacked immunologically, as if they're infected with the virus.
The immune system detects the presence of spikes and initiates the destruction of the infected cells. These cells become a target for our immune system to hunt and kill.
It immediately evokes an autoimmune reaction in each and every cell that is expressed.
No wonder we're having a spike in turbo cancer.
Health officials have been cautious in acknowledging that these particles may have the potential to distribute beyond the injection site. If these particles enter the bloodstream, they may potentially increase risks. A widespread distribution could result in the production of spike protein in various organs.
Lipid nanoparticles go everywhere in the body.
What is happening?
Everywhere.
What is happening? What is this?
To the brain, to the bone marrow, to the liver, to the spleen, most importantly to the reproductive organs, to the testes, to the ovaries. So lipid nanoparticles can't be controlled.
Most of the lipids should stay in the shoulder, and they are designed to efficiently enter the deltoid muscle cells, but they can also be taken up by other cells in the body. So not only can the cells in your deltoid muscle be turned into spike production sites, but also cells in your heart muscle and organs. Current leading theories of mRNA vaccine-related cardiovascular problems include spike protein expression in tissues and molecular mimicry of the spike protein. The late pathologist Arne Burkhardt and his team examined over 100 biopsies from individuals suspected of having suffered adverse reactions to vaccines, some of which were fatal.
And the destruction of the endothelium may be one of the major factors.
These biopsies provide clues about how the vaccine may contribute to damage to organs and tissues.
Our findings are so alarming that the vaccination should be.
Clues about how the vaccine may contribute to damage to organs and tissues.
Our findings are so alarming that the vaccination should be stopped immediately, and especially the vaccination of children.
When these tiny fat particles enter the bloodstream, they may be absorbed by the walls of blood vessels or the heart. If these tissues produce spike proteins, our immune system may attack these areas, causing potentially serious damage to the vessel walls or the heart.
We found spike protein in many organs and many tissues. Spike protein was in the endothelium and in the vessels, in the vessel walls.
Arne Burkhardt's autopsy findings align with a growing body of biopsy and biodistribution studies, including one that used deep learning to track lipid nanoparticle distribution in animals.
It was actually known before it was deployed in humans, based on rodent models, that these products went all over the body, and yet they persisted to continue to deploy them.
Guys, this is criminal.
Health agencies approved mRNA vaccines, knowing that lipid nanoparticles can spread to different organs in animal studies. They conclude that any spread of mRNA beyond the injection site is minimal and short-lived, and have not raised major concerns about the spike protein. Research cited by health agencies shows no conclusive evidence of significant harm in humans.
We never use experimental products in pregnant women. We never use it in children. In this situation, we've done both. And we don't know what's going to happen to these children long term after the shot. In this situation, we've done both. We never use experimental products in pregnant women. We never use it in children. In this situation, we've done both. And we don't know what's going to happen to these children long term after the shot. If you look at some of the studies, where does the vaccine, where does the spike protein like to go to? To women's ovaries, to men's testes? And how is it going to affect their future fertility, their ability to have children? The answer is we don't know. There is no long-term safety data.
What is happening? What is happening?
My doctor, while I was pregnant, said, I'm going to give you the vaccine. I have another client. The baby's totally fine. The baby's immune to COVID. This is a really good thing. And I was like, I wanted to please my doctor. I love my doctor, you know. I respect doctors. And so I got home and I told my husband, you know, I'm thinking about doing this. He's like, no, don't, just don't. Let's wait till after. I said, okay. I regret it every single day that I walked into my local pharmacy to get that shot in my arm.
This is insane. Absolutely insane. I can't believe this is real. I can't believe we're in this version of simulation.
But the news got me when they said, hey, you're gonna have to protect your children. And I'm a new mother, and well, what are you gonna do? I wanna protect my child.
And they're safe and they're highly effective. That these are safe and effective.
Those two words haunt me to this day, and that's safe and effective. Which this vaccine was not safe for me, and it was not effective. Safe and effective, while there's neuropathy and pain throughout my whole body, I can't think straight, I have brain fog, I can't dance anymore.
Jessica's serious condition has put an indefinite pause on her career as a multi-talented artist. Jessica Sutta rose to stardom as a key member of the Pussycat Dolls, one of the best-selling girl groups of all time, with 55 million records sold.
I've had the most incredible experiences in my career. After the COVID shot, I have not been able to dance again. And I don't know if I ever will dance again.
What?
Following the mRNA vaccine, Jessica developed severe autoimmune-like symptoms, leaving her in excruciating pain and relentless fatigue for over 3 years.
So about 2 days after the first shot, I woke up with the most excruciating muscle spasm in my right rib. It spread through my whole entire rib cage, burning, stabbing, the most awful, intense pain that no pain reliever can take away. I had a stammer for a while where I couldn't put words together, and I had all involuntary head jerks and leg jerks, overall fatigue, joint pain all throughout my whole body. And during this, I lost about 50 pounds in 3 months. I feel like my body is eating itself. As I sit in front of you right now, I'm in so much pain, I could just cry. So life for me is just a painful existence every single day. Honest to God, I feel like I just turned 41, and I feel like I'm 100. I never knew 41 would feel like 100. Yeah, it's devastating. I don't want anyone to go through what I'm going through. I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. And the fact that they did this to kids, because I can't imagine this happening to a young child.
What is this? What is this?
mRNA technology. It's still new, and it seems like there are a lot of possibilities for where this could be used.
The lowest hanging fruit is other vaccines.
The mRNA vaccines, its uses are being expanded tremendously into other vaccines and then into animals, which terrifies me because we just don't know any long-term data.
While these mRNA vaccines aren't meant to alter our genes, they do use our gene machinery. With the rise of mRNA products, our bodies are becoming factories for drug production. These experts emphasize extreme caution to protect current and future generations from any potential health disasters, as we've seen with toxic substances in the past, such as lead, asbestos, and DDT.
Dusting with DDT was begun at once.
They're working on this technology, this lipid nanoparticle plus a gene sequence, for so many other viruses and infectious diseases now.
By helping to create the vaccines that really rescued us from the coronavirus. I'm here with Stefan Bancel, who is the CEO of Moderna. What's next?
So what we're working on is a lot of vaccines, around 30 plus vaccines today.
The FDA has approved Moderna's RSV vaccine for people 60 and older.
To approve a new type of self-amplifying mRNA vaccine.
And they want to do this, and they want people to think, see, we used it during COVID. Wasn't it great that we were able to warp speed it? No, it's not great. Now they've got 50 more racing trains coming down the tracks because they think they have permission.
So it's such a success of mRNA technology. The mRNA technology is a very powerful technology.
Throughout the pandemic, world leaders championed the new mRNA vaccine platforms, expanding their use to other vaccines.
Indeed, mRNA vaccines will be central to the EU's preparedness plan for fighting COVID-19 and other viruses.
It is a great moment for us, and it's a great moment for all the thousands of people working here. They feel very excited about your visit.
And this pioneering technology could be the backbone of our future vaccine portfolio.
Hello, everybody. Mr. President. Thank you. AI holds incredible promise for all of us. Design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine.
It's a strand of mRNA, the code of life inside every cell of your body. Then it has the power to change everything. Moderna, this changes everything.
Are companies like Moderna? This is a revolutionary biotech firm that's creating a whole new class of medicines based on messenger RNA, the software of life. Well, it's almost science fiction what you're up to.
It's like software. It's a software of life. I mean, we have 48 drugs today in development.
48.
48 today. And there's 50 more in the labs cooking.
While Moderna's products are not designed to alter genes, but to cure diseases and develop vaccines. It is also true that mRNA technology has made humanity more open to gene and cell therapies, a view echoed by Stefan Ulrich, an executive at Bayer.
The mRNA vaccines are an example for that cell and gene therapy. I always like to say, if we had surveyed 2 years ago in the public, would you be willing to take a gene or cell therapy and inject it into your body, we would have probably had a 95% refusal rate. I think this pandemic has also opened many people's eyes to innovation. Many people's eyes to innovation.
By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. This will be the greatest revolution in biology since the very beginning of life 4 billion years ago.
This guy is insane.
Toby, a 39-year-old mother of 2 sons and wife to a wonderful husband, experienced a life-changing turn after getting the mRNA vaccine.
It was very hard for my husband to watch me
suffer the way I did, and my children didn't know what was going on. You know, I didn't know if I was going to live till the next day, and I had to have these hard conversations with my children, you know, that I don't know if mommy's going to make it.
After the vaccine, she became bedridden with painful neurological symptoms, turning each moment into a horrific struggle. Could autoimmunity cause Toby's symptoms, where a dysregulated immune system attacks her nerves? Vaccines can dysregulate the immune system, triggering autoimmunity. The body attacks itself, potentially damaging nerves.
I started suffering with severe vertigo. I felt like there was electric raindrops dropping on my skin. I had burning sensations in my brain. I was having audible hallucinations. I was suffering from aura migraines, tremors, internal vibrations, excruciating leg pains. My veins were bulging and burning. I developed POTS. I had lost an extreme amount of weight. I have extreme joint pain, muscle atrophy. The list is endless. I was afraid to fall asleep at night because I didn't know if I was going to wake up.
Over the course of 60 years of mRNA research, early studies failed to make mRNA work. Simply injecting mRNA caused dangerous immune reactions and was highly inefficient. Until Robert Malone took it to the next level. Robert Malone's team made major breakthroughs proving that mRNA could be used as a drug. By using lipids to protect the fragile mRNA, they successfully made it work in human cells. Yet, the toxicity of these lipids remained a decades-long challenge.
Again and again and again, those trials failed. The industry has been plagued with the problem that these formulations are toxic. Now, there had been improvements in the technology, or alterations at least, since I had abandoned the field in the late 1990s because of the inflammation and toxicity of the formulations.
Their discovery led to a monumental medical breakthrough.
This year's Nobel Prize recognizes
Katalin Karikó and Drew Weissman made a Nobel Prize-worthy discovery, engineering mRNA to be nearly invisible to the immune system. Unmodified foreign mRNA is very fragile and potentially dangerous to use. This modified version of mRNA is more potent, durable, and less likely to cause harmful inflammation.
Carroll and Weissman, and so they took the U out of and put pseudouridine in there and produced a molecule that it's a kind of a modified synthetic thing. And that worked considerably better because the RNA doesn't degrade. It stays around for a long period of time, and the pseudouridine appears to suppress some of the inflammation.
They intentionally made messenger RNA synthetic for Pfizer and Moderna. This increased the efficiency to the maximum.
Using too much pseudouridine may cause errors in ribosome reading, leading to malfunctions. A research team at Cambridge University found that, with these vaccines, about 10% of the time, the cellular machinery produced faulty proteins instead of the intended spike protein. While the researchers did not observe any harm with these proteins and assured that the issue could be fixed, the bigger question is how this was missed and whether there are more things overlooked. This modified RNA should be cleared from our bodies within days, but more research is needed to understand why it sometimes lingers much longer in some individuals.
There was statements made that the RNA only stays in your body for a brief period of time. Well, that's true for natural RNA, but this is not a natural RNA. This is a synthetic product. The pharmaceutical industry and the governments misrepresented this to patients.
As recently as 2017, just 3 years before the pandemic, mRNA technology was still in the experimental phase, with challenges in toxicity, biodistribution, and very limited human testing.
Sort of RNA area. Do you talk us through, where we're at, how optimistic you are?
There's early animal data that shows real promise.
In 2017, a Stat News investigation reported that Moderna's mRNA therapy for a rare disease failed in animal studies due to lipid particle toxicity. The company has since improved the safety of its technology. Since the 90s, mRNA technology has made remarkable progress, becoming much safer and more controlled, thanks to brilliant scientists and the decades-long coordination of U.S. scientific and military agencies. But for a global vaccination campaign, it had to be more than just an exciting technology in development. It had to be truly flawless.
The people working in the field believed that they had developed compounds and formulations that were not toxic, were not inflammatory, and would remain localized at the site of injection in the draining lymph nodes. And that became the storyline that all accepted.
Stay at home during this pandemic.
A global vaccination program without a vaccine that hasn't been fully developed yet.
You get the overwhelming majority of the country vaccinated.
mRNA vaccines took the spotlight as one of the leading candidates for a COVID vaccine.
Today, we're meeting with the pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies.
How can we make it faster?
We were able to go so fast because we were working for many years with the NIH, and we had worked with Dr. Sparcy's team.
The former CDC director, Robert Redfield, was surprised by the strong preference for mRNA vaccines over traditional proven technologies.
Debbie Birx and I were on the board, and we voted for the protein vaccines to be included. Birx and I felt this is, 50-year technology. Let's go with it. And part of the reason we didn't win is everyone didn't think it was
Dr. Sparcy's team.
The former CDC director, Robert Redfield, was surprised by the strong preference for mRNA vaccines over traditional proven technologies.
What? Debbie Birx and I were on the board, and we voted for the protein vaccines to be included. Birx and I felt this is, 50-year technology.
Wait,
let's go
what?
with it. And part of the reason we didn't win is everyone didn't think it was sexy enough. All right, the mRNA was new, it was sexy. There was a pretty heavy bias by other people in the room.
What the fuck? It's fascinating that on the mRNA technologies, Moderna had never safely brought a product to market ever before.
But that same company has never brought an approved vaccine to market.
It's never produced a commercial product before.
Drew Griffin explains why so many people are pinning their hopes on this unproven technology.
So why in the world were we allowing companies with no experience in the vaccine realms to produce a product to be used around the world? Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer, admitted, he said, he went to a scientist and said, why are we using mRNA technology? We've only been researching this for 2.5 years. And they just turned around and said to him, it's because it's what we're doing.
He came and suggested to me mRNA, and it was very counterintuitive, the decision. I told him, are you sure? If you do that, this is not going to be only the first COVID vaccine, that will be the first vaccine ever. And they felt strongly about it. And I had to place my trust on them, and I did.
But was it too much of a leap to go from no approved mRNA vaccines to deploying them to billions? The COVID vaccine trials were critical for evaluating mRNA technology's potential concerns about toxicity and biodistribution.
How do we know if these vaccines are working?
It takes about a decade, about 10 years, and well over $1 billion to bring a vaccine to market. But the decision was made that there was not sufficient time. What was done was to run very limited clinical trials of very short-term duration.
There needs to be some compromise in some of the safety measures that would normally be expected.
They overlapped the studies and were allowed to submit earlier research data. Before the pandemic, the FDA sometimes treated mRNA vaccines as gene therapy products, but now they are recognized as genetic vaccines. Critics argue that by treating these vaccines as traditional vaccines rather than genetic vaccine platforms, regulators may have bypassed certain safety checks.
There was a strong effort to deny that this was gene therapy technology, because if it was acknowledged that it was gene therapy technology used for vaccination purposes, then a whole different set of regulatory tests would have had to been performed.
Regulatory agencies and public health experts declare that mRNA vaccines underwent rigorous safety and efficacy evaluations both before and after approval, with no critical steps bypassed. They emphasize that these vaccines have saved millions of lives with minimal harm. And ongoing safety monitoring shows no significant risks.
This vaccine, the mRNA vaccines, probably saved about 3 million lives.
The former CDC director is skeptical about mRNA technology's future in vaccines, but sees promise in therapeutics, including for rare diseases.
The mRNA technology will not be used in vaccines. Okay, let's fast forward 3 years. But I do think the mRNA technology will be used in therapeutics.
After spending a lot of time and money on treatments, Toby and her husband face financial ruin.
My injury has cost us over $70,000, and I don't even know if I can fully heal, or, it's definitely put me in the right direction, but it's landed us in financial ruins, and to where our credit's been ruined. We had to take out major loans, and now we're filing for bankruptcy. So it's completely devastated us.
If you have an adverse event, or your child has an adverse event, you are on your own. From a compensation standpoint, you're literally hosed. The regulatory agencies and the pharma companies are completely immune to prosecution. So we can't sue them and try to get financial recourse after our injuries. And it's wrong, it's evil. These people are abandoned. Many people are devastated from the standpoint of their finances, they're physically devastated, and they're often emotionally devastated.
Paul Merrick and his team at the Independent Medical Alliance are tirelessly researching and developing treatment protocols for long-term COVID and COVID vaccine injuries.
Clearly, there are people out there suffering, and they're often desperate. The focus of this conference is on spike-related disease, which is mainly, vaccine injured. And the people here are really, their mission is to help those that are less fortunate and those that have suffered.
All
All right, spike protein. Obviously, the conference is around spike protein.
I also want to thank Brant Dressen, who's my co-chair of RAC 19. This is a time when we all can share our individual experiences with regards to COVID and those injured by the COVID shots, and be able to collaborate and try to hopefully move forward to develop better diagnostics and treatments.
It's really hard to understand this unless you're living it. This experience has been the most isolating experience of my life. So I can't wait to be around my fellow vaxxed injured. But also the doctors at the frontline COVID critical care, because they have been tremendous. Dr. Merrick has been an angel within the community.
The team we have are truly outstanding people who absolutely committed to what we're doing. It's like a family, you know, these are my family. I think our goal is to educate, to empower people.
Are you going to succeed in this goal?
Of course. I mean, there's absolutely no way we can fail. I think, you know, we've come this far. You can just see the affection and kindness of the people that are here today. This is part of a community, and you know, I hope this community will grow bigger and bigger to the extent that we will be able to persuade other people to see the truth and to see the light, because that's what we stand for.
And the truth should prevail at all costs. And the sacrifices we continue to make to get the truth out there will continue. And so I would encourage people, wake up.
The truth is the most sensational thing that you could ever report. It's always going to be what people want to hear.
We must continue to speak our truth.
We fight evil through love. What we're about at RAC 19 is really spreading love and caring for our fellow human beings. And I really think in the end, that's the story that will defeat the evil that we're up against.
If this film matters to you, please share it and help start the conversation. For official guidance, visit the website of your regulatory agency and consult with your healthcare provider. Provide connection and support for individuals navigating post-vaccine health challenges.
This was insane. Absolutely insanity.
Navigating post-vaccine health challenges.
This was insane. Absolutely. Wow. Just wow. What did we just watch? What the fuck? Oh my god. Wow. Are you still here? Or did you fall asleep in front of a keyboard?
After every video where we talk about the topics in the video, where we dissect any other discussion. Informs that, and that informs this. It's all very complicated. One other last thing real quick before we wrap up is there's a lot of people pushing the envelope on this conversation right now, a lot of experts chiming in that you should be watching and following along with. Shout out to Outside the Overton. He is an ex-ballistics instructor, ex-military. He's been doing a lot of work, and he sort of is one of the driving people behind the idea that maybe there's a shooter off to the side and up behind maybe. He's been having discussions with people like Paramount Tactical, name them all, but thinking.
Let's go. We will. Do we have an audio echo here, friends? Check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. A bunch of stuff we didn't cover in the video. We'll watch some of the sources that you guys were putting in the comments. If you guys have questions, the chat is crazy, but I do have a couple of homies that are going to be peeping the chat and pulling out good questions and texting me questions. If I miss you, if I miss your questions, I want to give a huge shout out to all the regulars that were in the chat in there. I see you guys. I recognize you, even if I don't respond to all of y'all. Regulars in the chat are the bomb, and you're super fun, and I love having you there. Thanks for being there. Thanks for always holding it down, calling out the Zionists, and keeping it light and keeping it good and fun. Cool. Dude, chat is popping. You guys are killing it. So, a lot of you guys were telling me that I got to watch this range day bro video. It's 8 minutes and 41 seconds long. I actually realized once I got here that I did watch part of... Oh, we're mirrored on the screen here. Interesting. Whatever. I have actually seen part of this video, and I actually turned it off because I didn't really dig his analysis so much. But it might be that I was misunderstanding it, or that I have already seen sources kind of around what he's talking about.
I now have acquired proof that the
Let's speed it up.
story is false, whether knowingly or unknowingly. We're gonna have an entire monologue and talk about a lot of these things after I show you this. But if you take nothing else away from this video, you need to see this. And in that video, you can see the same.
So he's on a lot of the same stuff as outside the Overton, this flash in the window that we don't necessarily know what it is. That flash in the window lasts exactly 1 frame.
So this video was created.
And it does just so happen to be right when the crack happens from the video.
This is the angle he is showing.
Y'all can't hear the video audio, huh? Y'all can't hear the video. Here, let's try refreshing what it's displaying. Let me know if you guys can hear the video now.
Which will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, which unfortunately we will, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter coming out of the entry.
So here's the reason why I was not down with this video, is because he's operating on bad footage. He is operating on a very grainy video here that makes it look like that was blood coming out of Charlie's ear. But that appeared to be an earpiece, and I don't know if I can find let's check out Ryan Mata. I don't know if it was Ryan that analyzed the video. Charlie Kirk earpiece. Because there is a more clear video floating around that you can see far more clearly that it is an earpiece. Right? And part of what indicates that it looked like an earpiece is that it comes out and then it swings around the back of his head instead of going just outwards. Right? And in a previous live stream, I kind of analyzed some other video of a guy trying to look for the earpiece, and it's like hard to see it. It doesn't look like he's wearing one. But then when the shot hits, it's almost like it was tucked into his hairline or something. I don't think that was blood. And honestly, that being blood does not make sense with a shot from the back, because the whole point of what is being claimed is that entry wounds don't bleed right away. Entry wounds don't like... Blah! Entry wounds are usually invisible. Usually the bullet goes in and it's hard to find the entry wound, is what all the experts are saying. And it's the exit wound that blood comes out of. And that's why we saw blood start pouring out of his neck right away. Right? And so I presume that bro is on the right track and probably talking about a theory that I agree with, but he's actually citing evidence that I don't think is evidence, because he's using a video that's been compressed too many times.
The exit wound emerges, and
which is it's easy to do. It's hard to find the original footage. It's hard to see what's going on.
Again,
I don't blame the guy.
Not a far distance for or or in the high vitals where you impact the spine, the game usually drops right in its tracks because you sever the spinal cord. This is again exactly what we see with Charlie. He tenses up. His head movement also correlates with being shot in the back of the head. His head snaps forward.
He's not wrong about that. Okay, that's gonna get our live stream demonetized.
Videos that I saw posted the day of Charlie's assassination, and right here I have a pause where you can see that splash that I'm talking about from the entry wound, and you can see it.
Nah, because right there you can see that it's a line that goes around the back.
Slowed down. This guy in this video is actually talking about that.
I think outside the Overton's analysis is more convincing to me that it was an earpiece that wrapped around into his shirt and was probably clipped by his lapel mic. And the lapel mic is an interesting theory too, which I am not giving credit to right now. Like, I'm not digging into that. If it was a lapel mic super bomb thing, it's like, we're not going to be able to prove that unless, you know, the CIA gets pissed at Mossad and actually exposes them. The lapel mic, in my mind, using lapel mics frequently, they clip onto your shirt, they can fold underneath. It makes perfect sense the way that lapel mic moves around. So I'm not tripping on the lapel mic at all.
On his shirt, in the ring, okay? Full right here, that the person is holding.
Yeah, Bushman. So early on in the reporting, I saw someone produce what was like a high-res photo of this bush. I didn't look into how they made it high res, and they made it looked like it was just a bush in the photo they posted, but I can't verify if that was a real resolution increase or if it was like bullshit AI that is actually, like, you know, not real. Totally could believe that this could be a person. I would believe it. Let's pull up Google Earth. Already where we need to be. Okay. So the bush. Infamous Bushman. The bush was living up here on this balcony right there, pretty much. I don't think that is the bush. I think that's other stuff up there. I think the bush was right next to that, which is like kind of sus, that there just happens to be a new bush, but I don't know. So right now, the theory that most people are honing in on is that Charlie was shot from the side from someone over here. Probably couldn't be on the top roof because that would be too high and he would have been under the tent. Probably couldn't have been down here because then he would have been surrounded by people. So it's possible in some windows. It's possible on this balcony. Maybe it's possible back here on this back roof a little bit. But it's hard to say if you'd be able to see over the edge or not. There are other theories floating around about, you know, someone out here, someone in the crowd, someone closer with a pistol, all sorts of theories. I believe actually that John Cullen, who I referenced in the video, him and Jason, I saw another video from them today, and I believe that John is rolling with the belief that it was actually a drone that shot Charlie at this point. Because they've been going pretty far down that spy plane rabbit hole, and it's pretty interesting. But I do worry that sometimes John is the kind of guy that likes to have that theory that's like so niche that like it's special to have, that no one else has it because it's like requires so much depth and intellect to get there. So I worry he might fall into that trap a little bit because like drones shooting him is a pretty esoteric concept. That being said, it's very possible. So I don't know what to say about it, but that's what it is. So, one thing that I forgot to put in the video is the repaving of this courtyard right after the shooting. Is that they tore the crime scene up and repaved this whole spot with paving stones. And people have been noticing this trap door, which is interesting. Charlie Kirk trap door. Twitter is my conspiracy theory search engine now, because it's where all the best conspiracy theory videos are. So the trapdoor was side of the tents. I'm not putting any stock in the trapdoor. I know that Candace on her episode today went on the trapdoor a little bit, and it's like pretty interesting connection between the valve company and the trapdoors. But that being said, like I don't suspect this has anything to do with it. That just doesn't seem relevant. It's like, it's not like someone popped out of the trapdoor and like shot him from the trapdoor, JFK style. And if there is stuff under here, it's not like that would have been used by the assailants that were probably up on roofs. I don't think. But that being said, I'm glad that someone is looking into it, because I wasn't going to think to look into it, and no stone left unturned, right? No trap door left unopened, so to speak. What I suspect that the repaving of the courtyard is where'd that bullet impact, right? That bullet would have impacted, if there is a bullet that came from his side through his neck down, it would be in the ground somewhere here where it's not supposed to be. And you can't have no kids coming and snooping and finding a bullet hole in the grass that ain't supposed to be there. That's what I suspect. We don't really have any confirmation about whether they found the bullet or not. And I mean, Andrew, what's his name, said that the bullet was just under his skin, which is like, come on, bro, please. I did like what Candace said today, though, about like, said that the bullet let's be mellow under his skin, which is like, come on, bro, please. I did like what Candace said today, though, about though, like, I don't have any context on him. I don't know him. I don't know if he's a good guy or not. But I assume that he's a good guy, and I assume that he's acting in the best interest of his friend. But we will remain vigilant and skeptical and just keep our eyes on everybody. Because right now, there's a lot of politics going on at Turning Point USA. And there's a lot of unknown variables and quantities. And I don't know if it's occurred to anyone else yet, but I guarantee that there, in my opinion, I would feel very comfortable saying that there are billionaires that as of today, as of this morning, are thinking about running Erica Kirk for president in 4 to 8 to 16 years. After the speech that she gave the other day at that ceremony, there are donors that are looking at Erica Kirk thinking we could put that woman in the White House. I'm sure their question is, could we control her if we put her in the White House? And hey, if you were reading the chat in today's video, you know that Erica Kirk is currently a very contentious topic. Everyone's got their opinions. Everyone's got theories. Personally, I want to believe that true love is real and that she is there 100% for Charlie. And until I see strong evidence against it, that's going to be kind of my operating mode. But we're going to, we're stay vigilant. We're going to keep our eyes out. But that being said, I don't suspect that Erica is nefarious at this point. That would be pure fucking evil. Pure evil. And we're not going to allege pure evil without any evidence at all, when everything that I've seen from her has been like very heart-wrenching and touching and sincere and tragic, honestly. So paving over the crime scene is pretty sus. Ain't no reason to do that 2 or 3 days after, the most prominent political assassination in 50 years. Chat, y'all, so paving over the crime scene is pretty sus. Ain't no reason to do that 2 or 3 days after, the most prominent political assassination in 50 years. Chat, y'all are going so fast. I'm going to see if I can't get some of these questions from chat texted to me, because I can't keep up with you guys in chat. Y'all are chatting too fast. But I'll also, before we end, I will spend some time at the chat, just chatting with you guys, talking. Maybe going over, I'll see if I don't know how supers work. I'll figure them out soon enough. Y'all know how I am. Real good at everything except for like all the official parts of my job. Well, real good at some things except for all the official parts of my job. Pretty much an ass at all the things I'm supposed to be good at here. Candace. Oh, yeah, the footage. Okay, we talked about John Cullen's theory there. The footage. So Candace saw the footage from the camera that was directly behind Charlie, right? And there's a whole bunch of confusion at first about what she saw. And the clarification is that Candace didn't get a hold of the footage. She was shown the footage on a live stream on her screen. So that's what someone does when they want to show your eyes a thing, but they want to ensure that you're not going to take it from them, and have a copy for yourself, because that speaks to corruption at TPUSA, or controlling forces at TPUSA high up. That speaks to leadership, people of authority at TPUSA deciding that the footage should not go out, because what Candace described seeing, which she didn't even realize at first when she said it the other day on her stream, she didn't even realize that the fact that she didn't see blood corroborates this concept. There's no way that round from that rifle, if it was a 30-06, would hit Charlie in the neck and not spray blood all over the backdrop, which we already knew, because there was no blood splatter. There was no blood on the backdrop. We knew there was no blood back there. But if you had clear video footage of the back of his neck, it would be game over. Hence why we got that crazy Man of Steel tweet, which is just totally insane. So chat is asking about the guy that took the SD card out of the camera. And that is a legitimate question. Let's see if we can pull up some of these videos. I bet it's as easy as just searching that. Let me pull this in here for you. So we're talking about this guy in the white shirt with the sunglasses under the tent right now. And he's about to pick up the chair that is covered in Charlie's blood. He's like lingering right around this camera. This is clearly his job. He's very...
I just heard them say an active shooter, Charlie Kirk, has been shot. Charlie Kirk got hit, is what the security detail just said.
And so now, while the camera turned away, he's taken the SD card out of that camera. There's other footage of this happening too. There was a camera that was fixed right there that filmed the whole thing. That people are a little sus. So this is him taking out the SD card, and then they do a little handoff behind the white tent here, is what it kind of looks like. And then people kind of think that this guy with the hat walks away with the SD card. It's hard to say.
My son just messaged me and says that Charlie Kirk...
There's another clip where he takes the SD card out of this other camera next to it too. So he took an SD card out of two different cameras. So that's suspicious. I thought what Candace said about it was very good, that she knew the guy. She got in touch with the guy. She asked him. He said that he was trying to keep it safe from evil people that might try to steal it. They gave the footage to the FBI, allegedly. But I think we all have questions about that, because I think we all have suspicions about some people inside of TPUSA. I think we're all a little worried that TPUSA might be infiltrated by bad actors. And you would think, here's really the heart of it for me with this guy, is you would think that the kind of person that would be like, fuck, get those SD cards right now, that'd be like someone like me that would be thinking, get those SD cards right now so that I can take the footage quietly, put it on my own computer, and then give it to the proper people so that tomorrow I can blast that shit all over the internet and ensure that everyone sees it. That's the kind of person that you would think would be doing that for the right reasons, because they wanted to get it out to the public to expose the lies. The fact that that is not what happened, and that he apparently was not interested in releasing it to the public, but was interested in gatekeeping it to TPUSA senior leadership and the FBI, that is a little more suspicious to me. So I'm not very jivey with the explanation we have so far around that camera and around the SD cards. That being said, we really already have enough information that we already know what that camera shows. We already know that there is no exit wound on the back. There's no blood splatter. That's what it's going to show. We don't really need it. But it would be really solid forensic evidence that would be impossible for the FBI to ignore if it was, you know, floating around X getting millions of views. So there's that. Excellent question, whoever asked that question. A lot of people, Diligent Denizen has been digging into this guy. There's a lot of suspicious theories kind of floating around. It is worth mentioning, I mean, y'all know me, that I am, you know, perfectly ready to jump down conspiracy theory rabbit holes. But it is important in these times to remember that one of the primary tactics of disinformation campaigns is flooding the zone. And flooding the zone is when you fill the airwaves up with all kinds of craziness, all kinds of horse shit, stuff that doesn't make any sense at all, stuff that's kind of believable, stuff that's believable-ish, like just flood it with shit so that you can't wade through it enough to get to the real truth. And so be aware. There are a lot of theories floating around right now that are clear bullshit. There's a lot of people that are making posts that are retarded, that are clearly just trying to get clicks off the situation. And then there's a lot of earnest digging that's happening that you might just not think is correct. Like, for example, I see the video by Homie, by Range Day Bro, and I don't think I agree with his assessment of what's coming off the ear. But despite me disagreeing with his assessment of what's going on with Charlie's earpiece here, or the blood, or whatever it is, that doesn't mean that I don't like him or that he's a shill or that he's like a bad actor or anything. That just means that we're coming to different conclusions. And you should be careful about accusing people of being bad actors because, and this is just my opinion from being in the space, from working in this world, is that accusation of bad actors they're important sometimes, but they muddy the space. They get people fighting. They get genuine people disagreeing when we're supposed to all be on the same team. And usually you can tell the bad actors by just going as fast and hard in the right direction as possible. And then you'll notice that there's these people trying to distract us. And you'll notice that there's these people that were like seemed based at first, but they really weren't actually following us all the way to the truth. And I found that that is a way more effective strategy to just keep talking about the shit we're not supposed to talk about and keep digging for the real truth and exposing things. And the bad actors inevitably expose themselves along the way of us all going in the right direction. But if we stop moving and just start fighting and calling each other bad actors, that's really counterproductive, and it often hurts more than we benefit. So that's my take on that. And like, for example, Range Day Bro seems dope. I would totally hang with him and get a beer and talk conspiracies. I don't think that he has any ill intention. I think that I just disagree on that point. And similarly, like, Camera SD card guy is like kind of a different category. It's not like he's a truth seeker. It's not like he's trying to dig for information. I'm a little more ready to be suspicious of him. But at the same time, you know, be careful about making bold accusations about people without evidence. It's one thing when you're an anon on Twitter, but it's a different thing when you know, take your person into that accusation. You know what I'm saying? So I've just been learning over the years doing this that it's easy to make mistakes of going too hard in the paint on a person when you should be really staying on the ideas. Usually, not always. Sometimes we do got to get right down onto the people. Where are we at? We're 7:48 now. Dude, just so you guys know, that was a huge stream for my channel. That was so sick that you are all there. Really appreciate it. We broke the record for the most people live viewing a premiere on my channel, like within the first 10 minutes of that video. Y'all are total legends. Hugely appreciate it. I am going to pop open our live YouTube chat now real quick. We are on Twitch as well. We're even on Facebook tonight. We're hanging with the boomers tonight. I don't know how many people are watching on Facebook, but if you're watching on Facebook, you're a legend and we love you. And we're glad you're here. I don't know why you're on Facebook, but, you know, you do you, bro. But let me just pop open the live stream here. We are on Twitch as well. We're even on Facebook. Get that good double audio. Cool. I still see a bunch of the regulars, a bunch of the homies in the live chat. We're going to do, you know, 10, 15 minutes of just open, chilling Q&A in the live chat. And I'm just peeping the chat right here on YouTube right now. In the future, we'll be doing the live chat on Twitch. But I think a lot of you guys don't know that I'm on Twitch. IED and microphone, that sound is explosion, not gunshot. You know, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I don't understand how there could be an explosion that does not produce smoke, does not create a flash that we see on camera, that doesn't have any outwards projection, only directly into the neck, and for it to be a working microphone. Like, it's not impossible. The CIA, CIA, Mossad has done some crazy shit. It just doesn't seem like the most effective way at all. Like, at all. It seems like a more likely theory to say that the camera might have been modified to have a little like gun on the side of it. That is a more likely theory that I still think is unlikely, but far simpler to do that and to conceal that happening than to have a literal explosion on his neck from a device that we can all see right in the front and center of everything, the way that I see it, at least. Knock. Wow, sick. Appreciate the big super chat. I don't know how to put super chats on the screen yet, guys, but I'm reading them. Did you see the side video showing a guy in the crowd raising what looks like a gun that recoils right before Charlie is hit? Yeah, he's like this buff kind of military looking dude, where his arms are all bulging in his fucking shirt, and he like comes in and he like pulls up his shirt and he's like kind of sideways to it, and he goes like as it's happening. And honestly, like that and the other guy on the other side that's like standing with the cell phone under his arm, kind of like this, both of those I'm not convinced by. And for me, the main thing about all of the like pocket guns and cell phone guns and like shoulder guns and stuff, all those theories, is you need 100% accuracy. You need a guarantee that you're going to hit him. And furthermore, I think you need a guarantee that you're going to hit him in the neck, because actually I am starting to suspect that the neck was very intentional, because there's no, if it had hit the head or if it had hit the torso, it would have been basically impossible to pass it off as a shot from the front if it actually came from the side, right? If you hit someone in the skull from the side, that damage is going to blow their skull open in that direction. It's going to be very obvious that it was a shot in that direction. And if you're using like a lower caliber, a subsonic round, a round that is like more stealth, that will probably do a little less damage, then you start to worry like it is possible to survive headshots. It's not possible to survive your spine getting severed. And so I'm starting to suspect that actually the neck shot is intentional, because it's easier to pass it off as being a shot from the front instead of from the back. Like, not putting too much stock in that analysis, but I'm not putting a lot of stock in all of the little guns that might have existed in the crowd, just because, like, if you've ever shot a pistol, you know that pistols are the hardest kind of gun to aim, and you're never going to have guaranteed accuracy with a pistol unless it's on a machine, unless it's like robotically operated. That's my take on all the little pistol theories. What about Candace saying she is one of the top Masons at Turning Point USA? Jason, thanks for the super. I think that is just like a phrase that they've repatriated for themselves. I should make a video about my take on Masons at some point. It'll be super controversial. A million people will call me a fucking shill. I'm not a Mason, but I actually have a totally different take on Masons than most people. And I don't think they're actually also evil. I think that they've been corrupted for evil in many ways. I think there's probably some element of infiltration there and stuff. But I actually think that like the original concepts of Masonry is like pretty neat. And like America was founded by a bunch of Masons that were basically like Christian Masons. But I don't know. We boomers know the playbook, going back to JFK. Dang straight. Y'all know what's up. Glad to have you here, Teresa. Thanks for the super. Appreciate it. Chad is kind of stealing the supers from me now. Pose. Appreciate the super. $25. No, a guy in the crowd behind him in white. Yes, the guy in white, I think, is the one that had the thing under his arm like this, I believe. Maybe I need to go and look at more of these other shooter theories, though. Neck is the throat chakra. Kabbalistic magic. They had to silence him. Yeah, the shot in the neck in the freaking what do they call it? The menorah. In the menorah shaped courtyard is pretty coincidental symbolism. Like, damn, bro. Oh, I'm not showing you guys. Peep the menorah shaped courtyard. Like Charlie Kirk menorah. I'm going to expose that I don't know how to spell menorah right now. Like, that's pretty coincidental, if you ask me. I mean, just saying. I'm just saying. All right. Joshua, appreciate that super. Thank you. Greg with the $20 super. I suspect that Candace and Erica are coordinating. Don't be surprised if you see some good cop, bad cop stuff in order to snuff out the infiltration. I'm not going to say too much. I don't know. I don't have inside baseball on purpose because I don't want to have to keep secrets from you guys, and I don't want to have to ask Candace to, betray secrets to me. But I do have some vibes, and I have suspicions, and I don't want to talk too much about them. But I am of the suspicion that Erica Kirk is a badass, and she's very smart, and she's very politically capable. And I think that that is where some people see that political nuance that she has, and they get suspicious because she is good at speeches, and she is good at politics, and she is good at wheeling and dealing, and she is good at, saying a lot without saying anything at all, and vice versa. But that's the exact kind of wife that Charlie needed. That's the ultimate wife for a man like Charlie Kirk. And now that she is at the head of Turning Point, that is the exact kind of person that can fuck shit up. And so the question really comes down to is Erica Kirk the worst evil piece of shit on the planet, or is she a great, loving Christian wife? And I suspect that she's a great, loving Christian wife because I don't want to be that pessimistic, at least not yet. Rhiannon, thanks for the super. Yep, Neck, they know he wore vests. I have confirmed now. I've been going back and forth with all kinds of people about the vest. I had some reporting that Charlie had a very special vest that had little fake nipples on it. So it was it would look like your chest under your shirt so that people would never know he was wearing a vest, which I totally believe. But confirmation, he's not wearing a vest. We all know he's not wearing a vest, but I'm also getting inside sources saying that he's not wearing a vest. There was no vest. We know that now. Which, there being no vest really dries up the whole Mauser 30-06 theories. There's no Mauser shot from the front if there's no bulletproof vest to take that impact. And so that's really the smoking gun, if you think about it. Hey, you, I see your super here. Thanks for the super. What's the deal with Ashton Forbes? He seems very angry. Are you planning to debate him? Matt Kim said YouTubers were contacted and told not to go hard on Israel. Do you think Ashton was contacted? I don't have any idea if Ashton was contacted. Ashton is just very angry all of a sudden, and he's angry at a lot of people, and I feel concerned for him because it's weird how it came out of nowhere, and it kind of makes me worry about psychological manipulation and emotional manipulation. And I hope he's okay because I genuinely really liked Ashton, and I thought he was a great dude. And when I platformed him and interviewed him about MH370, it was an awesome conversation back in the day. And I've always supported Ashton, and I will continue to support Ashton from afar, even while he thinks I'm the actual Antichrist and the devil, and that I hate Jews and everything else, which I don't. I was talking about doing a debate with him last night on a little podcast, but then I was watching his discourse online, and he was just spewing diarrhea on a whole bunch of other people that it just felt like bro is just really angry and emotional right now. And it was I do not need to put air into that sail right now. I am busy and I'm just going to stay out of that. Don't need to be throwing mud around. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm praying for him. I hope he's doing okay. I still like him. Is it so hard to believe Kirk is Wolverine? Thank you for the super Dangerfield. Anything's possible. Ian, do you think any real change will come until the Rothschild and Rockefeller bloodline are gone forever? I would never kill myself. Big Misty, thanks for the super. You are correct. I try not to focus on the big stuff too often because ultimately, it gets kind of depressing when you realize the scope of the problem is that no, it's like as long as the Rothschild banking dynasty lives on, as long as the banks are controlled by the current cabal, the Zionists, we're not going to make a whole lot of progress down the field. That being said, speech is a very powerful weapon, and an idea is a thing that you can't kill, you can't buy, you can't stop an idea. When an idea is planted in fertile soil and, the rain comes, it just grows and it spreads. And so spreading the idea, spreading the knowledge of what's really going on out here, it's the kill shot. It does everything else. And so we start by spreading the knowledge, and then all the action follows from there. Dalton, thanks for the super. Can you please talk about the rooftop cameras and how the contract for those cameras being installed in the control rooms, those rooftop cameras, are the highest quality you can get? How do I view this whole super? Why can't I view you? I don't know how to use computers, apparently, guys. I don't want to put the user on timeout. Okay. Can you get other military something? I don't really know a lot about the cameras. My friend Ryan Mata looked into the tech stack for the campus, but my understanding is that a lot of campuses will like put a lot into the budget and then not actually like finish the project that year, or they'll like budget it out across 5 years. So it's kind of hard to tell how many cameras are actually on the campus, but their tech stack says they have a shitload. So, wow. Carolyn M., thank you for the huge super with no comment. Really appreciate it. You're the bomb. Middle class garage, thanks for the super. Either he was wearing armor and they are hiding it for some reason, or perhaps a 300 blackout from the side. Only option is that makes sense to me, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not familiar with blackout rounds or any of these like specialized rounds, but I've been hearing very similar opinions from the other experts. Please look at the shoes and all the shooter photos and compare them. Yeah, there's a smart idea, Lisa. Thank you for the super. Cool. I'm catching up. Kirk, Wolverine, keep up the fight. Thank you for the big super, Joseph. Really appreciate it.